All right, welcome to News 6 Extra. I'm Christopher Heath. It's Monday, September the 8th. The weekend is over. The work week is upon us. And Kathleen has returned to us.
I'm back.
Penny de la Cruz's reign of terror has come to an end.
I know.
Kathleen is back.
Now Penny's on vacation, so
Now she's on vacation. Yeah.
right.
So it's the only thing that's constant is I don't get vacation. That's all that we're learning out of all of this. So how was the vacation? Restful, relaxing?
Very relaxing, very restful. Got to spend a lot of time with my mom, and so it was nice. It was nice. When the alarm went off this morning, it was a little tough to get up, but I'm here, and I'm glad to be back.
You are. Well, we're glad to have you back. And, I joked with Penny that we would do like The Bachelor, like a rose ceremony with you and her when you return and be like, I've chosen you to be my assistant co-host for News 6 Extra.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if we get the same ratings as The Bachelor, but nobody watches that because it's on a different network.
Right.
So
right.
Take that.
I mean, it would probably be pretty close, I would think.
Pretty gross. So, all right. David Nazario is checking out the weather for us. And David, I know last week I was asking you if this invest was going to come to Florida and destroy everything we know and love. And you seem to think, it's too far out. We really don't know. We're getting a little more information on it. We're also kind of settling into a bit of a muggy pattern here, it feels like. No audio.
Did last Friday.
There we got you.
There it is. I was going to say, all right, perfect. I could see bars on my end, but perhaps it would have been for the better if there was no audio, because I am still recovering from whatever the heck got a hold of me last week. And so it's going to be a little more of a lackluster discussion this afternoon. So I do apologize. But yes, Chris, we are settling into a far more muggy setup across Central Florida. And if you look at the radar right now, we actually already have some pretty good pockets of heavier rainfall moving up through Flagler County, starting to creep into the northwest periphery of Volusia, and then down in my neck of the woods in Polk County, getting into northwestern Osceola County. We've already got some thunderstorms, a little bit of thunder and lightning flaring up out there. When I take you to the large-scale water vapor setup, this is precisely why we still have a trough that's dug in across the eastern United States. It really hasn't gone anywhere, and in fact, we've gotten a couple of reinforcing shots of energy, not only by the jet stream, but of some cooler, drier air from well up north. That's why it looks like that stationary boundary that's draped right across Central Florida hasn't really gone anywhere, and as a result of that, if you notice, I promise the graphic is up to date. We are going to be at average temperatures. And I bring this up because I've noticed on social media, it's been a hot topic recently that perhaps we're going to see an early arrival of winter. Now, while there are some makings involved with that statement, there's a couple of symbols and signs that we're tracking that might produce what feels like fall pseudo-winter conditions for many of us in the United States. I can certainly sit here comfortably and say Central Florida won't exactly play ball in that department, but when you look at our temperatures outside right now, we are doing fairly well for ourselves. Palm Coast at 81 degrees right now. Barely got into the 80s as of now, and it's already 12:30 in the afternoon. The greater Orlando area is 85, Kissimmee at 84, and the rest of us slowly but surely creeping up towards the upper 80s, which is precisely where I'm thinking we top out today. You look at your forecast highs coming up here in about maybe 2 or 3 hours, not a single 90-degree mark in sight. And if you notice, the average high is typically 90 degrees for this time of year. So we're still coming in just under that general average for the beginning of September. And you look at this, fantastic news, in my opinion. None of us across the Central Florida viewing area are going to have to deal with heat index values above 100 degrees. So while it might be a little premature to say winter is coming, fall is definitely on the horizon. And I don't know about you all out there watching, but I am definitely here for it. Fall is one of the best times of the year. Now, if you're looking to plan your day, we are looking for the chances of some extensive rainfall. Right about now, you can see about 40% here, about 1 o'clock this afternoon. 40 of us could be sitting underneath some heavier thunderstorms, and then by 4 to 7 o'clock, we're really starting to build that in big time across our viewing area. And because of that, Weather Prediction Center has us not only under a chance for excessive rainfall today, but a continuation of that tomorrow. So we want to keep a close eye on that and just kind of monitor your situational awareness, be aware of your surroundings, especially this afternoon. when you're making the commute home from work, getting the kiddos from school, or the kids are on the bus getting home from school. There could be some standing water on the roadways. We might unfortunately run into an extra crash or two, because that's just the nature of the beast here in Central Florida when it comes to those heavier downpours, and especially the thunder and lightning that comes with them. Now, taking you hour by hour to clouds and rain model here, you could see the model's kind of underestimating what we have going on out there. It does capture what's up near St. Augustine and Palm Coast okay. It also brings some stuff in towards the Tampa Bay area a little sooner than what we're seeing on live radar, but it's missing almost everything for our Four Corners counties. So that could possibly be something we want to investigate. And I think that's probably why the model shows most of our thunderstorms later this afternoon staying to the north. If I had to give you all an accurate assumption, just a professional assumption here, take everything that you see up north here and add a little bit down here near Polk, Osceola, southern Orange County, and maybe the lower portions of Lake and Sumter County as well, since the model didn't take in the initial conditions too well at the start of this model run. But regardless, you can still take this and kind of run with it. By the time we get to about 6 o'clock, notice a lot of us are going to be rocking under those heavier pockets of rainfall. These are the ones here that could provide us with frequent cloud to ground lightning. Might even see a stray power outage because of that thunder and lightning out there. And we can't rule out the potential for some very gusty winds with these as well. Storm Prediction Center doesn't have us highlighted for a severe risk, but we'll just keep an eye on that. Yesterday, we had a couple severe thunderstorms pop off at a moment's notice, especially for our northern counties. And given the setup here with that stationary boundary draped directly overhead, that's going to help to aggravate the pattern just a little bit more. You notice as we roll through Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday, we're also going to be watching for a small area of low pressure that's already trying to show itself off our west coast. Now, I'll tell you right away, especially since one of my favorite things to talk about, it's non-tropical, but of course, the Gulf waters are still cooking out there, even though our surface temperatures here where we live have gone down. The water temps out there have not really changed too much, so regardless, it's definitely on our radar. This is what we're looking at in terms of our rainfall total forecast for the rest of the work week ahead, Monday through Friday. You can see, especially for our eastern counties, Flagler, all the way down to southern Brevard and Osceola, we could rack up anywhere between 4 to 6 inches of rain before this is all said and done. And it also shows on the Climate Prediction Center outlook for the next couple of weeks, we will be the ones to see above average precipitation, all thanks to where the front is positioned and where that trough over the eastern United States will continue to nudge all that extra moisture. Now, it's September 8th, and per the calendar, 2 days from now, we're going to be in the busiest section of the hurricane season. But this is what we got for you. 91L has petered off. We have a couple of decent-looking tropical waves down there, but we're not quite to the point just yet to where the Atlantic will remove some of the hostility out there. Even though it looks like we have some tropical waves down there in the deep tropics, there's still stuff hanging out in the background, dry, dusty air and sinking air that's really preventing anything from taking off. So it does look like Gabrielle is on hold. That is going to be the next name on the list. I don't think September is going to go blank, however. You probably have seen on social media that hurricane season's over. Well, let's not go ahead and put all our eggs in one basket just yet. We are just now getting over the hump of the peak of the hurricane season, so time will tell, and I am still guesstimating and forecasting for you all that by this weekend, by the infamous 9/11 date, when we're all kind of waking up the morning of, giving those folks a moment of silence, I do think here in the weather department, we're also going to see the silence in the tropics begin to change ever so slightly. So that's going to be the pivotal date and time. I want you all to note take behind the scenes for me if you could. And then last, I'll leave you with I'll leave you with your 7-day forecast. You can see the rain chances are going to stay fairly high through the rest of the period until hopefully this upcoming first weekend of, or I should say second weekend of September, with as fast as time is going, we'll finally wash out that stationary boundary and begin to see a little more of that drying trend come into play.
All right, David, bring Kathleen in for this discussion. Seasons wise, how do we rank them? What's our favorite? You said autumn is about the best. Like the fall is the top of the seasons.
For me personally, I would say so. Fall's like that transition point coming out of the summer shenanigans, but not quite into the holiday season just yet, to where everybody's running around panicking, making their Thanksgiving and Christmas plans.
Yeah, fall you get the good of like the leaves are changing. If you have leaves, I mean, or if you live in a place that actually does that, we don't. But like in normal places, you do get Halloween, one of my favorite holidays. Of course, Thanksgiving's in there. Football's back on TV. Hockey's getting going again. There's a lot of good in fall. The worst of the
Yeah.
group. What do we think? Summer or winter?
That's tough. Winter in Central Florida is more of like just a spring or an extension of a not so summer kind of period. So I don't know. That's tough. Kathleen, what do you think?
I think summer's the worst because
That's fair.
it's hot and hurricane season.
That is true.
Yeah.
She makes a very
So-
valid
Yeah,
case. especially
it
for
is hot,
Floridians.
and especially here, it is humid. You are sweating through the whole thing, and your AC never gets a break. All right, David, thank you, sir. We will keep an eye on the tropics, and hopefully it stays nice and calm out there. All right, so back here in Florida, one of the things that popped up last week was making this move to get rid of mandates for vaccines across the board. And now some of this can get done by the legislature, some can get done by the Department of Health. But the push from the state going forward seems to be to get rid of all mandates for vaccines. Now, not getting rid of the vaccines, but getting rid of the mandate to have the vaccines. And if you're a parent in Florida, you know that to enroll your kids in school, there are certain vaccine requirements that have to be met, at least for now. Of course, over the weekend, we saw the state kind of change its position a little bit because the state's starting to get pushback from Republicans across the state, from Republicans across the country. Even the president weighed in on this and seemed to indicate maybe eliminating vaccine mandates wasn't the best course of action. Stephanie Rodriguez has the story.
Vaccine mandates, the rest would need to come from the legislature. While the Surgeon General says this is the correct move for parents' rights, critics worry it will lead to outbreaks of preventable diseases.
There are countries out there that don't have vaccine mandates for school.
While discussing his decision to roll back vaccine mandates in Florida, Dr. Joseph Latipo is stressing they aren't going away if parents still want them for their child.
If you want them, God bless you, you can have as many as you want. And if you don't want them, parents should have the ability and the power to decide what goes into their children's bodies. It's that simple.
Ending the mandate will make Florida the first state to end a long-standing and constitutionally upheld practice of requiring certain vaccines for school students. And the move is already in motion. It starts with a rule change from the health department that's expected to take effect in about 90 days, eliminating the mandate for several vaccines, including hepatitis B, chickenpox, and meningitis. The mandates for several other shots, including measles, polio, diphtheria, whooping cough, and mumps, would have to be lifted by the legislature. The decision has faced pushback from several medical groups, including the American Academy of Pediatrics, who argues the rollback will lead to outbreaks.
We saw the measles outbreak this year, more cases than we've seen in 30 years, over 1,400 people sick, many hospitalized, and unfortunately some people that passed. We can decrease these by kids getting vaccinated.
The rule change was started just last week, and since it takes 90 days to be put in place, those vaccine requirements will stay as they are for the next few months. Lawmakers meet again in early January. That's when they could decide to lift the mandate for other shots like measles and polio. In the studio, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
And we'll wait and see what the legislature decides to do on that. Obviously, Republicans hold a supermajority in both the Florida House and the Florida Senate. But, this could be one of those issues that you may not see uniformity across political or ideological lines. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that one. Staying here in Central Florida, the back and forth, it's been the ongoing concern, controversy surrounding the Pulse Memorial. The building itself is still there, but ultimately will be raised and we will put a new memorial in there. But we're going on years since 49 lives were lost there, and it just keeps going on without a memorial in place. Of course, today, the city of Orlando is going to take a vote to try and move this process forward. Angie Casada reports.
For survivors and families like the ones behind me and all of those advocates that you see across the wall, this moment has been a long time coming, and today's city vote has set the memorial project on a clear path with the design work beginning in just weeks.
It's still something that is so fresh and real to so many people here in Orlando, and we've lost, 49 precious lives that I don't think that feeling ever changes for anyone. As a location and a business that is a safe space.
The $12 million plan is a partnership between the city and Orange County. Orlando is committing $7 million. Orange County has pledged $5 million spread over 3 annual payments.
It's time. It's time that there is a memorial. It's time.
Renderings already show features families have asked for: a welcome center, tribute wall, and 49 columns for the 49 lives lost. Gomez Construction will be the firm that will design and build the memorial. If today's agreement passes, design work must start by October, with construction expected to begin in 2026. Orlando City leaders telling county commissioners earlier this summer they're confident the project is now on the right track.
I think we have a very good track record at the City of Orlando of fiscal management that's responsible and transparent.
Leaders say the goal is to finish by the end of 2027. One thing that's not on today's agenda is the recent controversy over the removal of the rainbow crosswalk here outside of Pulse and the recent painting over of artwork on some city storm drains. Of course, we'll be watching to see if that's discussed as well. The meeting is set to kick off at 2 o'clock. Reporting in Orlando, I'm Angie Quesada, News 6.
And of course, News 6 has a reporter at the City of Orlando meeting, and we'll have a full update for you coming up on News 6 starting at 4 o'clock. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to News 6 Extra. I am Christopher Heath. So a couple of weeks ago, Lewis Bolden had a story about a woman who was scammed out of money during, it's a romance scam is what it was, happened in Volusia County. Well, fast forward a couple of weeks, investigators were able to track down the man accused of scamming her out of this money. And when he was finally brought to Volusia County, not only was the alleged victim waiting for him, but also Sheriff Mike Chitwood. Lewis Bolden has this update.
Sheriff Chitwood, I'm the one that arranged your trip back here.
Volusia County detectives arrested 56-year-old Corey Woodall for organized scheme to defraud and grand theft for allegedly spending $30,000 of Carol West's money.
This is the young lady whose $30,000 you took and bought the car and the lawnmower and everything?
And something we don't see every day, the 70-year-old victim got to confront him.
How many other people did you spend their money? I was sick. I was sick to my stomach. How could I fall for this?
Last month, we told you West was the victim of a romance scam. She thought she was chatting with Paul LaCamera, a U.S. Army general. The crook sent his pictures and said he was stuck overseas and needed $30,000 in cash to get back to the U.S.
So like a fool, I cashed in my only CD I had and mailed the cash to an address in North Carolina, which I didn't understand why it was going to North Carolina.
Volusia Sheriff's detectives tracked the money from Florida to North Carolina and finally to Woodall, but not before he spent it.
What kind of car did you buy?
What car did you buy?
23 Hyundai car.
Woodall told detectives he wasn't chatting with West online, but the money was sent to him to launder, so he was going to, quote, scam the scammer and keep it.
How did you hook up with this guy?
Through my girlfriend.
Woodall admitted spending the $30K, but West had already sent the crooks another $30,000 in gift cards and Bitcoin. She hopes to recover some of it. Remember, don't fall for the scheme, don't get ripped off, but if you do, email me at theinvestigators@WKMG.com. I'm Louis Bolden, News 6.
All right. Well, listen, if you want to make money the good old fashioned, honest way, not scamming people on social media, you get a side hustle, is what it's called. Working, basically, it used to be called working a second job, but now it's, you have your prime job, main job that you do, the one that, 9 to 5. And then when you're on your free time, you exchange that free time to drive Uber or deliver food or anything else. So people are now starting to do even more of these side hustles. And, some of them are actually, getting pretty profitable at, burning the candle at both ends, so to speak. Bradley Blackburn has this story.
Anna Worm is an administrative assistant by day and a dog walker whenever else she can.
I have about 5 dogs that I walk consistently each week, and then one-offs every once in a while.
Worm sets her own schedule through Rover and says pounding the pavement has been a financial boost.
Living in New York is really expensive, so I knew that if I was going to be here, I needed a second source of income to be able to live the life that I want to live.
A recent Bankrate survey found just over a quarter of Americans have side hustles. That's actually the lowest percentage since 2017, and most are using that extra dough for discretionary spending.
What's going on here is that the job market's been solid, and wage growth has outpaced inflation for the past 3 years. People are catching up.
With the average side hustler making $900 a month, it's enough to pay down some debt or sock away for a rainy day.
Good.
It's also a way to turn a hobby into gainful employment.
I wanted to incorporate an activity into making money.
29-year-old Brianna Mertens picked up pickleball when she was in between jobs. The tennis player figured she could teach pickleball lessons.
Like more to the side.
It went from a side hustle to a full-time gig as a club pro. But Mertens still books private lessons on the side with an app called Teach Me To.
I'm able to pocket some extra money after bills are paid.
She encourages anyone even considering a side hustle to take a swing at it.
Don't be hesitant. Try it. You can make $5 in a day and make $100 tomorrow.
And that passion could become permanent. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Kathleen, you got a side hustle? You doing anything?
No, I don't have a side hustle. I have some ideas for side hustles. I would like to be a party planner, or maybe like party decorating. I would love to do that. I love decorating for parties. So if I had a side hustle, I would probably want to do something like that. But that's a lot of work too.
Well, you should go for it. So it's pennies to set up a little LLC, get a website. Start plying your trade.
Yeah,
I think that's a good idea.
I also do arts and crafts. I make wreaths. So maybe I can make some wreaths too. Maybe I can have 2 side hustles.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a clever Kath wreath.
Oh, you know what? I
Kath
like
wreaths. There we go.
I'll give you credit.
Thank you. But that's good. I mean, people are always buying, especially the trend of having a new wreath on your door for every season or for every month.
Exactly.
Do some creative ones. My wife would buy one.
Okay.
At a discount, since I came up with the company name.
Well, yeah. She could get it for free. I wouldn't charge her.
That. But that's cool. Yeah, you should give that a try. I mean, there's so many avenues out there for, it used to be you had to set up a business, have a storefront. Now, I mean, digitally, just, open up something on Etsy or somewhere else and you're off and running.
That's true. It is true.
Don't get too good at it, because then I'll have to, I'll have to break in another person to put News 6 Extra together for me.
Right.
I can't do that. So, all right. So our last bit here is Jeff's Bagel Run. They bring them in every once in a while to the station, Jeff's Bagel Run. And I like bagels. They're very, I don't know. It's filling, it's not as bad as like having a pancake, but I kind of feel like if you have a bagel in the morning, you kind of like I don't know, but they're delicious. Jeff does a great job on Jeff's Bagel Run.
Absolutely. Very, very good. I like the Asiago cheese.
Ooh,
bagel.
Yeah,
yes, very good.
They do a good job on the bagel. They do a good job with their the schmear, the spread. So anyway, Emily McLeod spoke to them about their success. Here's her report.
Central Florida's beloved bagel shop, Jeff's Bagel Run, just opened its 20th location here in Apopka. In fact, the company is already at 21 locations with even more on the way. So we wanted to come in and ask them, what's their recipe to success? And it turns out it's a few things, including consistency, the people, and the product.
I'm a native New Yorker, so bagels runs in my blood, so.
Okay, native New Yorker, so does Jeff's pass the test?
Absolutely, it's very good.
This location has only been open for a few weeks, but you would think it's been there for years with the number of people I saw leaving with bags and sometimes boxes of bagels.
We just saw somebody come out with a box of bagels, not just one or two, a box of bagels. How does that make you feel?
It's heartwarming. You know, it's emotional knowing that we're creating something that people enjoy.
Jeff Pereira is the co-founder of Jeff's Bagel Run. He says their success comes down to a few things.
Cinnamon sugar with strawberry cream cheese.
The product.
How are you this morning?
And the people.
You're gonna love us.
We make a fresh baked product every day. Scratch dough, in-house, baking it hot, almost to order for you. And then our teams. I mean, our teams are the ones who every day come in, create community in the store, remember your name, remember your order, and I think that builds a ton of trust with the community and makes you want to come back.
The bagel empire started in their kitchen, and now they have locations across the country. A recent survey by the Orlando Economic Partnership listed political uncertainty, economic uncertainty, and cost pressures as the top 3 challenges businesses were facing in Q2 of this year. So we asked,
what's your advice to somebody who's an aspiring entrepreneur like yourself?
I tell people this all the time. It's the same answer. Just keep going.
Not giving up. And there's one other ingredient that the Jeff behind Jeff's Bagel Run recommends.
It takes a little bit of an appetite for risk. Like, you have to be willing to put yourself out there.
And right now, taking a risk tastes pretty good. In Apopka, Emily McLeod, News 6.
See, there you go. Inspiration, Kathleen. That should be your inspiration to start your Kath wreath business.
I like it. I like how he said, just keep going, you know?
Well, it's one of those things where he's right about, like, taking that risk, taking that step, because, you're putting it out on the line. You're putting your name out there, you're putting your money out there, your time, and, the fear of failure is huge. So I think it's the reason a lot of us don't try and do things. We just don't want to. It's easier just to not do it than to try and fail. So kudos to him. Good bagels. And Bluebell, on a non sequitur of sorts, Bluebell Ice Cream keeps sending me emails to try and do a segment, and I'm working feverishly to try and figure out how to make that something that I can consider news and green light, just to get my hands on some free ice cream.
Right.
So,
Bluebell, they're very good.
They are. Bluebell, if you're watching, Tillamook Ice Cream, if you're watching, it is time for the two of you to vie for my affections. Send me ice cream. Shameless plug. So,
I like it.
All right, Kathleen, welcome back. Great to have you
you
back on the show. Great to have you back in the seat. Thanks for putting this together. We'll do it again tomorrow. Thank you to David Nazario for the wonderful weather outside and the wonderful weather forecast as well. Thank you to the powerful and wonderful Autumn Jones walking through the background there. There's Autumn. And thank you for watching. We break news all the time on clickorlando.com. Of course, we'll be on the air today starting at 4 o'clock for News 6. And we'll be back here for News 6 Extra again tomorrow at 12:30. Have a fantastic Monday. See you. Thanks.